Hi, I'm David Manti, and welcome to a new episode of the Today in Manufacturing podcast. With me this week are Ben Munson and Anna Wells. We're the editors of Manufacturing.net, Industrial Equipment News, and Medical Design and Development, and we each have more than 20 years of experience covering the various parts of the manufacturing industry. Every week, we cover the 5 biggest stories on our websites and discuss the implications they have on the industry going forward. Before we get started, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. You could also help us out a lot by leaving us a positive review on Apple Podcast or whatever platform you use. YouTube's a big help for us. Finally, if you want to email the podcast, you can reach any of us at Ben, Anna, or David at IEN.com with email the podcast in the subject line. You can also reach Jeff at IEN.com with have you caught anything yet in the subject line, because he really does deal well with those high-pressure situations while he's on the water. We're also live every Thursday, so subscribe to us on YouTube at IEN Magazine so you can get a notification and join us whenever we go live. Ben, thank you very much for joining us this week, man.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's so fun to be here. Yeah.
I can tell you're pumped. The energy is radiating.
I know. I'm trying. I'm into it, though. Yeah, I'm ready.
It was either you or we were just going to leave Jeff's empty mic and hang a gone fishing sign on it.
Just gone fishing? I like that. Like, I don't know what we would program into, like, Jeff, that was easy button, but just, like, hit it with, like, blocking and tackling. No. No, but, Jeff, we hope you enjoy the time off and, get a little R&R. Anna, how you doing this week?
Doing great. Super excited to have Ben here. And you were off last week, so doesn't sound like you're rusty, but we'll see.
No. It was
we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, the wheels will come off a little earlier this time just because, I haven't flexed the muscle in a minute. All right. This episode is brought to you by ClearSpider. VMI, also known as Vendor Managed Inventory, is a unique solution where the vendor is responsible for analyzing and optimizing inventory levels for their customers. Why is VMI beneficial for both parties? It improves order accuracy, increases inventory turns, and generates more sales. While VMI is a widely adopted technique to improve inventory management and supply chain operations, it might not work for everyone. So download this new white paper, Vendor Managed Inventory, proven to drive real supply chain value, to not only dive into the benefits of VMI, but also assess whether it's a realistic fit for your business model. I mean, sounds like a slam dunk.
VMI, slam dunk.
I mean, yeah, like real-time VMI. You can't miss.
Yeah.
And I got to say, thank you very much for covering last week. I thought the episode was great.
Thank Nolan. He covered for you.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, Nolan was just, what I liked with Nolan is he did the answer every question with 3 questions. But what if this? And I'm just like, oh, he's got it.
Yeah.
He's got his tactic.
Really got things moving.
That's right. All right. Well, our first story this week, AI robots rebuild wildfire-damaged LA community homes. In January, the Southern California wildfires destroyed 37,000 acres and 16,000 structures. The estimated damage is between $250 billion and $275 billion. Now, it's time to rebuild and try to do so quickly. ABB and Cosmic Building have teamed up to rebuild the area with sustainable, affordable housing. Cosmic Building is a construction technology company that uses AI-driven end-to-end software to run mobile robotic microfactories. And these microfactories employ ABB's robots, specifically the IRB 6710, as well as the company's Robot Studio digital twin software. Everything is integrated into a platform that does the design, permitting, procurement, fabrication, and assembly. Each home is developed 3 times faster than traditional methods and costs 30% less. And Cosmic and ABB aim to build 100 homes by 2027. This isn't just a way to rehome people in California, but it could address other problems like labor and waste in the construction industry.
For sure. Yeah, and the thing I love about ABB is they have a pretty strong footprint in the industrial market, but they have been doing more and more of these types of rollouts that are sort of consumer facing, I would say.
Yeah.
And to me, it gets people's minds moving in an interesting way. And you kind of wonder if these extraordinary circumstances, like what happened with this wildfire, might serve as a sort of tipping point for these non-traditional construction methods. For example, like maybe under normal conditions, if you were building a house, you might just go with the status quo because that's what you're comfortable with. But if you're one of the 16,000 structures in this region that needs to be rebuilt, suddenly you don't have an option. And maybe you're willing to roll the dice on something new, right? Because it's not like we have more workers.
Yeah.
We don't. We have
it's
less
not like
workers.
we can just bring in a pile of more workers that are readily available.
Right. We can't do that, especially in construction labor roles. It's just not really happening. And so you would just have to get in line. You would have to get into this 16,000 structure line. And they say innovation is born of necessity. And I think this is a really good example of that because it might get people thinking, you know what, maybe I would try this. Maybe I would roll the dice. And I think for this specific scenario, the big challenge is going to be scale. They mentioned that it's the speed at which this is completing a house is like 30% faster than traditional methods. However, they're saying they're going to build 100 homes in a 2-year period. That means I think that there's some kinks to work out. There's still some, test to take place and figure out how to kind of ramp that volume up. And maybe they're not trying to do that right now. But in order for it to really be viable, I think for the construction industry overall, to make a dent, right?
No, that standardization was like the big thing that kind of stood out to me. And it's, I can do it 3 times faster, 30% cheaper. But that's like when everything's set, right? Like the supply chain. Like, so for me, it was hard to believe, it's hard to believe that like automated home building won't play a bigger role in the future because of the things that face the industry. And it's actually hard for me to believe that automated home building doesn't already play a bigger role like now. But, because of some of those issues, then it starts to make sense. Ben, we've seen a lot of other automation kind of unfolding when it comes to home construction. Where do you think like this type of micro factory stands up with other things that we've seen, like 3D printed houses?
Yeah, I was going to say we've seen a lot of this kind of fabrication, robotic fabrication in home building, but so much of it seems to be 3D printing technology, which is great, but it doesn't, tend to come out looking like a traditional structure. Which, and this seems like a very traditional kind of, this robot is using actual lumber and it's, framing in a very kind of, standard way. And I think it's pretty interesting. And also they were talking about how this system, it not only kind of saves money and time, but also can reduce waste. And anybody who's like bought lumber or bought wood in the last 5 years, 10 years or something like that, you can see the prices going like crazy up. You can't.
Well, the prices
you can't just build stuff for fun really anymore.
No, the price is going up, and also like the disparate materials, right? Just like, why did that Menards run take you 2 hours? It's like, because I was looking for 4 straight boards, like everything is warped. And a lot of this it could just be as simple as no 2 home building projects are the same. Even if the layout is identical. But I really think that there should be like a more concerted effort to create more sustainable materials deployed in more sustainable processes. We always talk about these like one-offs, like hempcretes, other different methods that would, we just need to kind of prove the business model. And then once you prove the business, you say 30% cheaper. That sounds great, right? But it's like lining up that supply chain to make it a reality. I think that's what's going to hold things up. Also, great market for a summer job. Like if you want to teach somebody work ethic, have them go into the construction industry for a summer. And it's like, I don't know, it is backbreaking work. I loved it. But I still, when I go home, like 20 years later, I think it was only 20 years ago, but and those homes are still standing. And I'm like, that roof is on because there's about 40 hurricane clips holding on those trusses. And I know who put them in.
I would like to challenge our regular viewers to start keeping a tally of how many jobs are in David's work history. Because I've worked with David now for almost 20 years. So I know none of them were in the last 20 years. Have you had enough summers to have had all these jobs?
Well, it was
or are you just like toying with us and like
no,
back in my day when I worked in the coal mine?
Like we had like this was like kind of a fun exercise when we all started working together. Because people were like, what did you all do? Because, I mean, I started working in this industry when I was around like early 20s. But by then I had already had like 34 jobs. And everyone was just like, what do you, but I mean, like some of those jobs I had for like 3 days. And I'm like, well, let me tell you what it's like in the Kohl's distribution hub. My 3 days there, it's just, there's a lot of, there's a deep well of experience there in so many different parts of different industries.
Yeah, you are a young looking 72.
Yeah, that's sure. I mean, it's crazy. Like my resume is for the last 20 years, this previous 45 pages. Just, but I mean,
just delete that.
Yeah, I think there are people needed for this micro factory, at least like 2 people from what I understand. They have to, load the material and then offload the finished material.
Yeah.
And so you're technically working in construction, and it'd be great to like see them explain this to some of their older family members, like see the wheels like turning. You're working in construction, and like, yes. The robot's in a tent, and I'm there too with somebody else, and we wait for the robot to do its thing.
Yeah, we plug it in.
Yeah,
and then we watch it.
I make sure everything's level.
Yeah, we look at it,
and then I hit start.
Yeah.
All right, our next most popular story this week: deadly explosions at U.S. steel plant in Pennsylvania. An explosion devastated a steel plant outside Pittsburgh on Monday. Workers rushed into the wreckage with first responders, but the incident left 2 people dead and more than 10 others injured. Investigators are still trying to figure out what caused the blast. The company, now a subsidiary of Japan-based Nippon Steel Corporation, is working with authorities. The plant has some 1,400 workers who convert coal to coke. This is a key process in making steel. To make coke, coal is baked in these special ovens for hours at extremely high temperatures that remove impurities that could weaken steel. The process creates coke gas, which is a lethal mix of methane, carbon dioxide, and carbon monoxide. However, the local health department didn't detect levels of soot or sulfur dioxide above federal standards. I mean, it's not the first explosion at this plant. A maintenance worker was killed in September 2009. In July 2010, another explosion injured 14 employees and 6 contractors. The last death at the plant, according to OSHA, was in 2014 when a worker was burned and died after falling into a trench. Ben, when it comes to a company's safety record, this facility has a pretty lousy track record.
Yeah, I mean, it's a dangerous job. It's a dangerous, dirty job. But it was kind of, when you're reading about this press conference afterwards, and U.S. Steel CEO David Barrett, I guess he was reportedly taken aback when a reporter told him that one of the mill workers had told them that they thought the company was only interested in reactive measures and not in preventative maintenance. But you look at the track record, and it totally kind of backs up that claim.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, just the kind of performative, I can't believe you would think that, you know, but it's like, it's right there. Everybody's seen it. And this area has not only been, hit by these injuries and deaths at the plant itself, but the environmental impact has had a huge impact. I don't know.
Yeah, no, well, it's
but like, I mean, on the community, there's air pollution. There's a lot of stuff going on that is not, beneficial to anybody.
No. Well, and I saw some of those comments where he says he's like shocked and outraged at some of those characterizations about taking safety seriously. I mean, the one quote that I saw, safety is in our DNA. The first thing we cover in our board meetings, we take this extraordinarily seriously. But I also think that really shows the disconnect between like the C-suite and what's actually happening on the floor. Mm-hmm. Anna, is that some of the thing, like, did you see that disconnect as well, where, you can think how disconnected you can become when you're not on the floor every day? And mm-hmm. I mean, it's hard to think that with this company's history of safety violations that, there wasn't, a little bit more fire with all this smoke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you can't exactly be justifiably outraged when a person that works in your facility says that you're not doing a good job.
Yeah.
You have to actually take that seriously and look into it, not just be offended.
Right. No, it's just like, I mean, maybe it's because he was just so caught off guard, but you just have to be like, we will take that under consideration and we'll look into it immediately.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And like they were obviously in a defense position when this took place. But, when I saw this story break, I just couldn't help but think about how, when you look at the track record that this specific plant has, it's sort of ironic to me, honestly, to consider the kind of backlash that developed when Nippon tried to buy this company. Mm-hmm. And everyone was like, no, it's America. Yeah. Like, U.S. Steel is American. We can't let this happen.
It's U.S. Steel, not Japan Steel.
Right. And then when you have all these deaths and injuries repeatedly taking place, you have a culture of reactive behavior that, as Ben said, the CEO seems to know nothing about. Mm-hmm. Then I just do not suspect that people are like racing out to fill available positions at U.S. Steel. Mm-hmm. So, I'm not like trying to take down U.S. Steel or really make any comment on the deal, but it was frustrating to me when people were like, it just felt like very like a flag wrapping type.
It was politicized.
It was politicized.
Yeah.
It was like performative. It didn't seem like people were really like, we want to make steel.
Yeah.
No,
we make steel in America.
Yeah, it was just like, we, generally speaking, should make steel.
Yeah.
And I think
it's
when
like
you
get in line, then yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know, and when you see something like this happen at the manufacturing company that is probably the most discussed of a few mm-hmm. this year, then that drives the narrative again. In an industry that has a terrible image problem. And, if their name is in the headlines for other reasons, people like take note. They recognize this. And all it does is reinforce that that there are safety problems in manufacturing, generally speaking. Mm-hmm. But there are safety problems at this plant.
Yeah.
And so it sucks because I feel like for every time you see something like this take over the headlines, hundreds of manufacturing positions maybe go unfilled because people are like, you know what? Yeah. I don't want to take the risk. Or, I'm seeing all these headlines about manufacturing, safety problems. Why would I want to go work in a plant when people die there? Like, mm-hmm. look at all these people who have died there. So that doesn't happen in your average plant. This is a really terrible safety track record that is not normal.
Yeah.
But people view it as normal because that's all they know.
Well, and for me, what also stood out was that, this plant's like 120 years old, more than 120 years old. And this was supposed to be the beginning of this historic partnership, right? And I mean, can you think of a worse possible start?
To start, I know.
Of this partnership? I mean, if anything, it could be, I know that it gets a little muddy because like the U.S. government is going to have a say in some matters, right? But it's almost an opportunity for Nippon to just be like, hey, we're going to take control of this and we're going to put in new safety measures because we don't want to put our employees at this kind of risk.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to call it like an opportunity for them, but you're right. I mean, this could be a real tone setting moment for Nippon and U.S. Steel mm-hmm. where they say, this can't keep going on because it has been going on for too long. Yeah. And they could get rid of this kind of shocked response and actually adapt some like proactive measures to ensure these workers' safety.
Well, and I do, when we do talk about how this sheds like a negative light on the manufacturing industry, I do want to call out the heroes that were on site when this went down. Video came out that showed workers running toward the wreckage at the U.S. Steel coking plant, pulling people from the debris. And, they need to be commended for their efforts. And, while you see these general terms regarding the manufacturing industry and the safety, it is crazy kind of the things that your coworkers will do for you in an emergency situation. And to see, emergency personnel and other workers rushing in to help people, I thought that was extremely commendable. And I think that they should be recognized for that.
Absolutely.
All right. Our next most popular story this week. NHL team in trademark dispute with bag manufacturer. Kind of bags they making? The NHL has a new team, the Utah Mammoth. Did you know that? And they're already found themselves in a legal dispute. The Mammoth have their tusks in the air over a trademark dispute with a hockey equipment bag maker, Mammoth Hockey. According to the Salt Lake Tribune, the team wants a declaration that its logo and name do not infringe on Mammoth Hockey's trademark rights. The team's owners don't think the name will harm the bag maker, which launched in 2014 with Mammoth IPA as its flagship bag. The NHL team, which used to be the Arizona Coyotes, that was also a team. Did you know that? They announced the Mammoth as a possible name back in April 2024 and officially selected it this May. The lawsuit says that the bag maker was on board at first, even reaching out to the team to see if they could work together. Then the papers came. Mammoth Hockey, the bag people, said it would, quote, vigorously defend itself in a trademark dispute. The company says consumers could confuse the two brands and that fans of other NHL teams might refuse to buy its products. Anna, what do you make of all this woolly bully?
Is one of them the bully?
Mm-hmm,
oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. One of them's woolly and one's a bully.
All right. It seemed like maybe the bag company was initially supportive, not knowing what the team logo was going to look like. I try to compare the two. Well, the animal, the mammoth itself, they're not very similar looking at all. But the mammoth font, which is like all caps, those two kind of look alike. I could see them being like, meh.
Okay. But how dare you italicize?
But aside from that, I think so they have this concern, right, that people are going to avoid purchasing. The bag company is concerned people are going to avoid purchasing their bag out of concern that it could be viewed as an endorsement for a rival team if they're a hockey fan, which I'm sure all these people are hockey fans. This is something that the bag company should have foreseen immediately.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, did you like... took you a year to be like, you know what, actually, this might not be a good idea.
Could be a real wrinkle for us.
It just seemed like they should have had the foresight to anticipate that potential complication and discourage this from the very beginning. And to me, it just indicated maybe a lack of experience or naivety. I know that they were trying to work out this partnership potentially.
Yeah.
But if you look at this company, so it was the product was launched initially via Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
To, as Kickstarter projects often do, solve a problem for the founder.
Okay.
Which was he liked to play hockey, but all the bags that he was finding would like blow out within 1 year.
Okay.
So chose to make this bag that was very high quality, very durable. And that's how the company was formed in 2014. But they had been in business then for about a decade before the situation even took place. And I was just very surprised that there was no more due diligence done than these conversations. And then now the hockey team is coming back and saying they want, to file papers to, like, I don't remember what the term is for it, but
they wanted
a declaration.
Declaration that the logo and name do not infringe. So basically they want to stop it in its tracks and say, like, hey,
yeah,
we just want the court to recognize that there's no trademark infringement, so we can just kind of cut it off right now.
Right. And to me, that is something that they should have done before they picked the name.
Yeah.
Like, that seems like a no-brainer to me. Why are we doing this all after the fact, everybody?
Because everything seems so copacetic at first, Like, at first, like, the bag maker, there's just like, hey, we're going to have a pro hockey team called the Mammoths. We're Mammoth Bags. Slam dunk.
But this is naivety.
Oh, yeah.
When you can, there's no, like, we have a gentleman's agreement. Mm-hmm. Like, we talked this
through. Here's a photograph of the handshake.
I think everyone's cool.
Yeah.
Like, no, we're like a professional hockey team, and we are a LLC that runs a company, and like, get it together, guys. Like, fill out the paperwork, get your lawyers involved, get it together. Like, it's hard for me to feel sorry for, honestly, either side, because I just think that there was a lot of work that should have gone into this at the beginning and prior to making this big announcement, and nobody did it.
No, nobody did. But it was like, you're right. It was like a gentleman's agreement where everyone was like, hey, you going to be cool? Yeah, I'm going to be cool, man. And then as soon as everything happened, it was like, well, you said you were going to be cool. One thing that really stood out to me is how the Mammoth is just making an incredible comeback. I mean, we have the Moon Mammoths in minor league baseball. We have a Mammoth hockey team. They're like bringing back the woolly mammoth, actually, I believe, in some sort of genetic abomination.
Like a meatball, correct?
Yeah, I don't think
that was the
happening.
mammoth meat. Oh, that's right. The mammoth meatball too.
Yeah. What an opportunity for the for both of these companies, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the meatball tie-ins alone are
just
humongous.
Eat that mammoth
business
meatball.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Well, so I mean, on the point of the due diligence, Ben, like there were other names in the mix. And it sounds like they kind of went a different way because they wanted to avoid this kind of trouble.
Yeah, they had to back off the name Yeti for similar trademark concerns. Of course, Yeti makes coolers and tumblers, and a lot of people have them and know what that is. And I don't know if there would have been as much confusion between a hockey bag and a hockey team having the same name, which, as Anna pointed out, is just insane that they didn't really think that through.
Yeah.
But, they really leaned into this kind of Arctic imagery.
Oh, yeah.
Because they had I think it was in 2024, and they introduced a bunch of possible names, and they were Frost, Ice, Powder, Mountaineers, Freeze, Mammoth, Black Diamonds.
Oh, yeah.
Blast, Caribou, Blizzard, Swarm, Hive, Outlaws, Yeti, Squall, Fury, Glaciers, Canyons, Venom, and HC, which stands for Hockey Club.
They were the Utah Hockey Club.
Yeah, that was
the
default
right?
name. Yeah, it was like Washington football team until they came up. Yeah,
it's just like, you know what? It's too hard. We're just the hockey team.
Yeah,
but
they really leaned into this. But you have to think that a lot of hockey manufacturers are also kind of staring down the same kind of Arctic imagery that you're
leaning into the ice thing,
too.
maybe. Yeah.
And since when did Utah really care about like the names of their professional sports teams having anything to do with their state's identity? Right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, like the Utah Jazz was that like in basketball when they said New Orleans Jazz moved to Utah where they don't allow music.
They don't allow music. Yeah. No, I mean, and arguably. I mean, the Utah Yeti is arguably better, right? It rolls off the tongue. It just sounds awesome. And they probably said like, hey, we don't think Team Yeti is going to be cool. So let's just not work on that. Or let's not even deal with that. Some of this to me, and also the Utah powder. I mean, I get it skiing, but like the Utah cocaine, right? Like we're going to be the Utah cocaine.
Like the Utah Yeti is not better because it's already a well-established brand, even though it's not in the same market. Like that'd be like saying the Utah Cheetos is something we should talk about because
like, can you take it? I mean, you can't take like an animal. Like, I mean, I get it because like a Yeti is fictional, so that way there's a little bit more. Is it okay? Yes. Is it? Yes. I'm on the side that believes the Yeti is a fictional animal, regardless of how many AI videos are out there now of the Yeti. But I mean, I don't think you can't co-opt an entire animal. You can't just be like, the Utah Bulldogs, but like because of Georgetown, like no one else can be the Bulldogs.
Well, I mean, if it's already like a product brand and they have a trademark on it, I don't know what the legal ramifications are. It sounds like there are some.
It sounds like it's pretty sticky. Yeah. Like now I was also kind of curious about the lawsuit and when it came about as well, because the team is owned by Smith Entertainment Group, or SEG, right? So that's owned by a man named Ryan Smith. He also owns the aforementioned Utah Jazz, the Real Salt Lake MLS team, and the Utah Royals, a women's soccer league. All notably bad at each of their respectable sports. Very bad, actually. Bottom of the barrel. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure exactly how much SEG is worth because it's a private company, but Smith is reportedly worth $2.6 billion. Okay. Now, if we want to play into that game a little bit, the entire wheeled hockey bag market is expected to be worth about $500 million in 2030. The entire ice hockey duffel bag market is expected to be worth $250 million by 2033. And mammoth hockey isn't in the top 5 of either of those categories. So, I mean, I guess maybe they saw what the person who owns this company is worth, and they thought it could be a significant money grab. It was just, I given the litigious nature of everything in our culture right now, I was just like, well, maybe they went to the money guy at the top. Nothing there. Oh, I don't know. That was a big eye roll. She's not buying it.
Well, I mean, they have every right to go after, like, if they believe it's trademark infringement.
Yeah.
Then I don't know. I mean, why wouldn't they? I agree with them that they're in a very weird spot now because not only are some of their hockey fans going to be like, oh, that looks too much like a mammoth bag, the team.
Yeah,
or
I'm not a mammoth guy.
And now the mammoth fans are going to be like, hey, you're suing our team.
Yeah.
We don't want your mammoth bags. So now they're like they're in between a rock and a glacier. And
it is a truly slippery slope. All right.
Yes.
Our next most popular story. A swarm of jellyfish took down an entire nuclear power plant. One of the largest nuclear power plants in France was recently taken completely offline by a, quote, massive and unpredictable swarm of jellyfish. According to The Guardian, the jellyfish swam into water intake systems at the facility, clogged the filters, and shut down 4 of the plant's 6 pumping stations. The other 2 were actually already shut down for maintenance. At least this happened in a non-nuclear section of the plant. So, big radioactive crisis averted. But the plant still helps power 5 million homes. So, less lethal crisis not averted. This is actually fairly common. The University of Bristol recently developed a tool for providing early warnings when a smack of jellyfish is getting too close for comfort. And it sounds like the jellyfish problem could only be getting worse due to climate conditions, warming climate conditions. Anna, we often talk about risk mitigation and how important it is for manufacturers and other plant operators. Are you surprised by how much effort these plant operators should or need to put into fending off these kind of weird and wild wildlife breaches?
No, I'm not. It's becoming more and more common, and you see companies having to take measures to protect themselves against all the weirdness that happens when you have pumps in the ocean and open dock doors and
yeah.
And so we've talked about critters a bit in the past. Recently, we covered an Airbus story where a bunch of raccoons went inside a work in process plane and peed all over it.
Yeah. And chewed its wires.
Yes. Mostly the pee, though, I think,
is the problem.
Yeah. In 2019, I had to look this one up because I remembered covering it. We covered an incident where a bear entered a Denso manufacturing plant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Just put our bear plan into action. Just we don't have a bear plan.
There's no bear plan.
It's not frequent, but deer in Wisconsin have run into plants.
Yep, they have. In 2021, this one I think I might lose a little bit of sleep over. A black bear was discovered in a Virginia Volvo Trucks plant in the rafters, 20 feet above the ground. Is where they saw it.
No, thank you.
So they had to call the DNR, but yeah, what?
To take it down?
Yeah.
Would they just shoot it down?
I have no idea.
Oh, man. It's like that one where they shot the bear down and it landed on the trampoline.
But then he bounced off of it.
Bounced off,
oh,
yeah.
my God.
Poor little guy. But now we have this blob of spineless sea creatures just gumming up the works, looking to mutate.
Yeah, increasingly large blobs.
Yeah.
And are we 100% sure they won't mutate if they get through this filter?
I like your wording, the prospective scenario that they are giant. You just casually were a giant mutated.
It's we don't know,
jellyfish.
So we have to assume that they will be huge.
Yeah. I mean, I know that a jellyfish is already a precarious looking creature. I hate to imagine what a nuclear mutated one turns into.
Oh, the sting is going to hurt. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just think the takeaway. Obviously, these are sort of fun anecdotes. They're funny, but the ramifications, of course, are that with industrialization and warming trends, you're gonna have animals in places that they weren't before.
Mm-hmm.
Sea creatures like you had said in the story. This is happening more and more. So I guess that manufacturers and processors do need to reevaluate routinely what some of those risks are, and obviously they're external and they're very, very rare.
Yeah.
But if they happen, do you know what to do?
You should also, you should at least know what the native population is, right? If all of a sudden you put a potato plant over what used to be a forest, there's going to be a bunch of displaced animals that are maybe hungry for potatoes all of a sudden. It's just
well, right, exactly. And more likely what's going to happen is not this weird jellyfish thing, but a bird's going to fly in and it's going to die next to your production line, or it's
take out a transformer.
Yeah, or it's going to leave waste behind. And what is your process for dealing with that? What are the plant personnel doing when that happens? How are they cleaning it up? Is it sanitary what they're doing? Are they leaving any bacteria behind? So, all of that stuff I think is kind of in the same vein, but you really do need to consider what those processes are and document them.
Well, or it could be just like that juice factory that we covered a bit ago, and their contingency plan was nothing. Mm-hmm. You know what? Those tanks are out there in the wild, and whatever happens, happens. We'll clean it up later. Maybe.
That was gross.
That was
I remember that.
gross.
It's a little ironic too that if this really is a case of the water getting warmer, and then these swarms of jellyfish are getting larger, it's easier for them to breed in these areas, and if that's the case, it's a little ironic that it's affecting these nuclear power plants, which basically are not giving off any kind of carbon emissions, as opposed to
no, they're like, hey, it's not our fault.
As opposed to a coal burning plant. It's it's like it's like if the nuclear power plant, like a bunch of rabbits get in, they get mutated, they're huge, and then they jump up and they plug the smokestack at the coal burning power plant, and they're gonna be like, what? We didn't even do anything to cause this problem. Why is this happening to us? Right?
It would be nearly the same thing.
Yeah, it's pretty feasible, and
let's make this movie. I want to see it.
No, it's that was one thing that stood out to me, Ben, that was kind of the biggest shocker for me, was how frequently this happens, that it would warrant tools that needed to be designed and developed as a result to prevent it going forward. Was that did that stand out to you?
Yeah, it did. The fact that they actually, researchers saw a need for something because this was enough of a recurring problem, and it could be a massive problem. This factory, or this plant in northern France can supply power up to like 5 million homes. And so if it's completely taken offline, that could be a disaster, whether it's in really, a really hot climate, or if it's in a cold climate, or any kind of conditions. When you lose power, you lose so much. And it has a massive effect on families and communities. And, they're using these precautions. These filters are actually, I think, put in place in part to keep the jellyfish out. But when enough of them hit the filter, they can basically just clog it.
God.
Yes.
Yeah, and then you don't get water. Because...
Oh, no, I would like to get into that now. And actually, before I do that, Anna, that moment of dead silence, that was where the muscle strained and broke for a second after coming back after a week off. Just like... No, there are no more thoughts in there.
I don't know what to do now.
Don't worry about it. Just go hiking. So there were 3 other incidents that were documented that were pretty wild. There was a nuclear power plant in Scotland, which is also owned by EDF. That's the company that owned this one in question. It was shut down for a week in 2021 after jellyfish clogged their seaweed filters. It also happened in 2011. So that one seems to be happening every 10 years. So 2031, check the filters.
Yeah. Well, and I don't think data centers do this very often. They're more apt to just drain the Great Lakes so we can continue making AI videos of like a potato pooping out French fries. But they may eventually try to use seawater to kind of cool their operations, right?
Yeah.
And they could definitely run into the same problems.
Oh yeah,
and
that's a really good point.
If a data center is taken offline, it could have similarly catastrophic effects as losing power.
Yeah.
Jellyfish have also shut down nuclear and coal power plants in Sweden, the U.S., Japan, and even caused a major blackout in the Philippines in 1999. That, at the time, people actually thought was a government coup or Y2K. Incredible. What a time to be alive. Just like
Y2K.
Well, something takes down your nuclear power plant. And the timing is just right. You're like, oh my God, Y2K is real. And then you get back into it and you're just like, it was actually just the jellyfish. Finally, in September 2024, China's largest coal-fired power plant had to clear more than 150 metric tons of jellyfish from the plant.
Gross.
Just like imagine showing up to work and just like someone's holding a wetsuit and a shovel and they're just like, oh no, the jellyfish. Yeah, dude, it's a lot. It is a lot this time. Can you imagine that, Anna? Talk about a dirty job. Anyway, if you or a loved one has any experience with this sort of jellyfish removal, we want to hear about it because how does it go? You know, what do you do with the jellyfish? Do you just scrape it off and put it back?
They're just sliding off the shovel, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it just kind of like, I mean, are they on there pretty good, or is it kind of like just like a squeegee sort of situation? Just like, but I mean, like,
yeah. Also, if you have a bear in the rafters contingency plan, send it to us. I want to know what it is.
Right? Oh my goodness, the pitchforks. Our most popular story this week.
Throw out a picnic basket. That's what you should do.
The most popular story this week, the U.S. military wants to blow up some Cybertrucks. The Air Force Test Center recently submitted a procurement request for 33 towable target vehicles to be used as targets for live missile fire testing. The request mostly focuses on sedans, trucks, and SUVs, but the list specifically mentions Cybertrucks. Apparently, the vehicle could appeal to enemies since they don't seem to take the same amount of damage expected upon major impact. The study cited the Cybertruck's, quote, aggressively angular and futuristic design, paired with its unpainted stainless steel exoskeleton and 48-volt electrical architecture as features that set it apart from other similar vehicles on the market. It could be a good use for all the unsold Cybertrucks sitting around, which is reportedly around 10,000 units. Anna, now what do you think? Could a few viral videos of live fire testing help Cybertrucks rebound in the market if they are better at standing up to missiles?
I mean, maybe. Like, to me, the Air Force contract documents are almost like a commercial for Tesla. They said in part that the Cybertruck 48-volt electrical architecture provides superior power and efficiency, a feature that rivals are only beginning to develop.
Oh, no. When was this post written? When was this listing? You know what I mean? Like, is this part of the, like, hey, man, we'll throw you a bone?
It might be. I don't know.
Oh, no.
And I just feel like, so in today's society where fear-mongering and conspiracy theories and doomsday prepping, like, they seem like to have taken over popular culture, then I think it does actually do Tesla a service to characterize this vehicle as almost this military-grade vehicle that consumers can buy.
Oh, no.
I mean, don't you think?
It's like the new Hummer.
Kind
right?
of, yeah.
Just like, hey, things are getting weird. Got to protect yourself and your family with a Cybertruck.
Right. Like, you can point to this, hey, the Air Force is actually trying to shoot these things up because they think that enemies could use them because they're so durable.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think it's less durable than Tesla has positioned it as. I mean, we all remember that viral moment where the window breaks.
The bulletproof glass.
The shatterproof window incident.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Tesla is very happy with this characterization. And you also wonder, too, I mean, and this is pure speculation on my part, but with Tesla bleeding cash, staring down a couple of bleak quarters ahead, that's what Elon Musk said, like, kind of prepare for that. Will some of these wind up in the hands of adversaries? I don't know. I mean, like, if they've got so many on hand and they could kind of be like, well, we sell them, we don't know where they end up.
Yeah, you got to move some units.
Yeah, I mean, like, so I saw this thing on Stars and Stripes, which is a military themed website. Mm-hmm. They said in 2024, the strongman leader of the Russian Republic of Chechnya, Ramzan Kadyrov, posted a video of a gun-mounted Cybertruck that he said had been sent to the front lines of Russia's war in Ukraine.
Yeah.
So, whether or not that's real, I think you can see the potential of that happening.
Yeah, notable worst human on the planet. No, that's so Anna led into this, Ben, but the published date on this request is August 6th, 2025. That is weird timing for it to kind of like so eloquently spell out the let's just say attributes of the Cybertruck in the event of a missile attack.
Oh, yeah, and I think there's definitely something to what you're saying. It could easily be construed, whether or not it's true, by anybody looking to support either Tesla or the Cybertruck itself or anybody else behind those two products. But it also kind of seems to me like maybe it's just being thrown in there because they want to know how to blow up everything.
It's truly unique.
For sure, yeah.
In the same request, they asked for bongos, I believe is what they called them, but that's like basically the term they were using for a Japanese K-truck, which is a tiny little vehicle. I think a group of maybe 3 or 4 people could pretty easily tip one over together, for fun.
Yeah, I don't think you need to know how that blows up.
Yeah.
I bet it blows up quite good.
Yeah,
not a lot there.
And that's part of the request as well. So that make kind of, and then the rest was just like white sedans, red sedans, blue sedans, but they did call out the Cybertruck specifically, and I guess it is sort of its own category, just in terms of unsightliness. But it's a pickup truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they also they asked for like DeLoreans. No, I'm just messing around. If they could get their hands on a gremlin.
Yeah, but this is something where you're wondering, can I watch?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, and not just a Cybertruck. I mean, I want to watch all of it.
All the blowing up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Send us all the videos.
Yeah, I want it. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're doing this, you might as well show us, because we want to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to see a missile blow up something.
Well, and it was, it's not like, so the Air Force, according to the solicitation, wants 2 of them. So, hey, maybe there's like a buy 2, get 900 or 9,998 free.
Might be in the mood to make a deal.
Well, and they specifically requested that the battery be taken out as well.
Probably a good call.
Yeah. I think that's probably something they mentioned with any EV they're going to blow up. Maybe let's take the gigantic battery out so we don't create a hole in the earth or something.
Maybe don't start it on fire.
It's actually really weird that the bongo is the first thing on the list. It's not like the list is in any particular order of alphabetic order or anything. It's just like, it's got to be kind of interesting. Like, hey, I need you to, you get a shopping list. Just like, what are these for? We're going to blow them all up. I need 6 of these. I need 2 of these. That's just, it seems like an interesting day in the office.
Yeah, and I actually really want one of those trucks. I think Wisconsin is one of the states where you can legally have them.
Oh.
But
a bongo?
Yeah.
Oh,
but I don't want it for missile defense.
No.
No. It's not like you're not prepping. You just think it's funky.
Yeah. I think it looks cool.
Yeah. You just roll up in your bongo. What's up, guys? Finally got it over here. All right. Well, before we jump into our In Case You Missed It segment, story is not as popular on the website, but still stand to make a big impact on the industry going forward. We have another word from our new sponsor, Clear Spider. This episode is brought to you by Clear Spider VMI. Well, not Clear Spider VMI. This episode is brought to you by Clear Spider. Pause. VMI, or Vendor Managed Inventory, is a unique solution where the vendor is responsible for analyzing and optimizing inventory levels for their customers. Why is VMI beneficial for both parties? Well, it improves order accuracy, it increases inventory turns, and it generates more sales. And who doesn't like that? While VMI is a widely adopted technique to improve inventory management and supply chain operations, it might not work for everyone. So download this new white paper, Vendor Managed Inventory, proven to drive real supply chain value, to not only dive into whether or not these benefits will work for you, but also assess if it's a realistic business model for your company. It's realistic. Everyone loves it. Great one. Best bottle out there. If you would like to check out this, you can download. There's a link to it in the body copy, and it's also in the live chat. Okay. In case you missed it, stories maybe not as popular, but still stand to make a big impact in the industry going forward. I'm going to go first, Anna, just because mine kind of leads into yours.
Sounds good. Yeah.
So in case you missed it this week, I chose most manufacturing professionals would recommend an industry career path to their children. A recent poll asked manufacturing and engineering industry professionals, quote, would you recommend a manufacturing career path to your children or grandchildren? In 24 hours, the poll received nearly 350 responses, with the overwhelming majority, 78.24%, indicating that they would recommend such a path to the younger generations in their family. Only 22% wouldn't recommend a career in manufacturing. The positions are likely going to be available. The manufacturing sector is currently seeking ways to fill more than 400,000 roles available in the United States. And I don't know if you had a chance to check this story out, but we've been conducting these flash polls across some of our websites. This one was one of the most popular, let's say, so far. And I was kind of surprised. I was really surprised with the turnout, as well as how many people, almost 80% said, yeah, for my kids and grandkids, a job in manufacturing sounds good to me.
Yeah, I was surprised as well with how emphatic that response was.
Yeah.
And honestly, really encouraged by it.
Yeah.
You know, I think that more and more a manufacturing career path looks different than it did 50 years ago. It's not just standing at a production line in a very dull and dreary, 9 to 5, but it's people working with cutting edge machinery and people involved in the sales process and the design side. And there's so much to it that I think it's important to reinforce that when we talk about it. So exciting to see this really, I think like the legacy taking place with these folks that are in manufacturing now.
Yeah, I don't know if we were the last generation where our parents, my parents worked in manufacturing and they were just like, no, do something else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we were the last generation for that to happen, but it looks like there's been a heck of a change going forward. According to a recent study by Deloitte and the Manufacturing Institute, the skills gap could reach 2.1 million unfilled jobs by 2030. Managers say it's becoming increasingly challenging to find the right talent, and once they do, it's even harder to retain that talent. When you look at some of the results of this poll, Ben, what are some of your thoughts in terms of the outlook people have in terms of the manufacturing industry as a place for a career, and maybe some of the new tactics people are taking to attract and retain talent?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder about the skills gap and the reasons for that existing, and then just like how painful the process is for closing it, not only for these manufacturing companies, but also new employees or undertrained employees who are trying to get caught up, and maybe it could be discouraging to kind of have to always be going uphill with this kind of stuff,
getting workers that are in a little over their skis.
Right. And then, that could lead to some of this turnover that they're talking about.
Yeah. I think one of actually the biggest cause of the skills gap widening so dramatically was COVID, and how many positions were lost during the pandemic and then never recovered. And I think we're still kind of trying to dig out of that. So while production managers fetch salaries north of $121,000 in just last year, money isn't the only carrot that is drawing prospective employees. Candidates are also looking for companies that they morally align with and that offer a greater sense of purpose in their work. They're also drawn to companies that are better corporate citizens in the community and are willing to help employees with issues that extend beyond the job description. Issues, Anna, like childcare.
Wow, I'm so glad you brought that up because it lines up with my in case you missed it.
Oh,
believe it or not.
Just what a great fit.
I know, it's weird how that happened totally on the fly.
Completely.
So the story I selected is about Toyota investing in childcare centers for manufacturing team members. So what Toyota has done is, so they've had 2 existing childcare facilities for 2 of their plants. They're adding 4 more across their manufacturing footprint for a total of 6. So each new childcare center is developed in collaboration with a third party that is an expert in, high quality childcare and development. But they're meant to align with the plant's production schedules. So they can ensure that the team members can actually balance work and family. That's the goal. So all centers are going to introduce age-based curriculum for 6 weeks to 5 years old children, motor development, STEM, all the things, space, outdoor space, and so Toyota said that they actually have offered on-site 24-hour-a-day care at their largest global site, which is in Georgetown, Kentucky, since 1993. That was the most surprising thing to me.
Yeah.
I think obviously this serves Toyota well, right? I mean, we know that one of the top reasons for people to miss work is childcare responsibilities. Therefore, this on-site option, I think, that especially because it caters to specifically to these worker shifts, but it removes some of the barriers that are there for working parents. I can speak from personal experience. I know you guys have been through it as well. Trying to find affordable childcare that is high quality near your place of work, and then you're dealing with, pick up and drop off and traffic and all this stuff. It really is a burden.
Yes.
To everyone, It's difficult. And I think it creates barriers. It impacts quality of life for people. It says, I found the stat that said on average businesses lose $1,640 a year for each working parent due to lost revenue and hiring costs because of insufficient childcare.
That honestly seems low to me.
Yeah, I know it's crazy though, but I agree. I mean, and it's just such a big impact situation, and I think it causes people to quit. That's probably not in the data, as of like how many people are just like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I don't have a way to do this. So while I realize this is an investment opportunity for the company and they have their own interests in mind as well, it really would be like, one of the best investments you could make as a manufacturer. And I know it takes deep pockets. It's Toyota. It's not something that every company can do, but it really is. Yeah, really is a great perk.
I mean, you can't necessarily open your own childcare center, but you could certainly partner with some locally to create programs for your employees. You could create ones on a smaller scale. I mean, this one even has like a STEM track to it. It's incredible, some of the stuff that they're offering these kids. But I do think it's something that people should look at and see how they can offer it in any way to their employees. A little bit of alleviate that pain.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of companies are really taking a hard look at what are the reasons that we are losing people. Yeah. Why are people quitting? Why are people saying no to these hours, to these shifts? And trying to do something about that, because really if there's something that they can do in this age where turnover is such a huge problem in manufacturing and you're losing skilled workers out the door every day, that's the biggest problem we hear about, then adding these types of these things into the mix are really impactful.
Are there other companies with like similar resources to Toyota doing this kind of same thing?
That's a good question. I've heard of it anecdotally, but I don't know what the data is on that.
Sure. Well, I think it's great. And I would really love to see more companies do this sort of thing. Yeah. And like you said, we've all experienced, I think when we were paying for daycare, there was a lot of times where we were like, our two salaries barely, is taking away basically one of them. So why are we even doing it?
No, it was, anecdotally, we had friends also that once they had their second kid in daycare, one of them left work because it just wasn't worth it anymore. We
to be clear, I don't know that this is a free service, but I just think like the convenience of it is probably the key.
In the availability.
Yeah, and the availability, yeah.
No, completely agree. And we paid, I still have one in daycare, and we paid almost $20,000 for daycare last year. So any way that they can make that a little bit easier on employees. Some of the other just other companies, according to a quick Google search, Home Depot, Patagonia, Mazda, Tyson Foods also have on-site childcare. So, maybe there's something to learn from that. I was also, one thing that I was surprised that stood out too was that it said it was from 6 weeks to 5 years old. And I was like, man, my wife had 2 weeks maternity leave. I had 1 week of paternity leave. And then I was like, we need you back. So it needed to be from 3 weeks on. Toyota actually has maternity leave from 6 to 8 weeks, 100% paid. I thought that was incredible.
Yeah.
Just like, all right, another kind of nice perk to be working at Toyota. But yeah, more of this. Because it is, I think, as much you kind of undersold how much of a burden this is on families and how it really does.
I mean, everybody who's been through it knows. I don't need to sell it.
No, I think everybody that's been through it knows, but people who haven't been through it have no idea.
Yeah.
Have no idea as to what it actually takes. Ben, what's your in case you missed it this week?
Okay, yeah, I'm glad you guys mentioned both of those things because they don't lead into mine at all. My in case you missed it is Implant treats type 1 diabetes by oxygenating insulin-producing cells.
And sometimes in mothers.
Yeah.
No.
Cornell University researchers have developed an implant that can treat type 1 diabetes by supplying extra oxygen to densely packed insulin-secreting cells. Type 1 diabetes is the juvenile form, which is thought to be caused by an autoimmune response that stops the body from producing insulin. And if you have it, it usually means like daily insulin injections or an insulin pump. And even then, you're still likely to suffer some really awful effects. This device that they've designed, it holds a transplanted insulin-secreting cells and an electrochemical oxygen generator that's about the size of like a dime.
Okay.
It has a membrane that protects it from the host body's immune system, but it still lets the oxygen out, and it can be removed if needed. What it could do is allow people with type 1 diabetes to have an islet transplant or cell therapy without requiring immune suppression, which is a pretty dangerous procedure. And these researchers said that the same system could be used in other applications where a problem is caused by a body not producing everything it needs.
Okay.
Things they mention is like pain control. It could help your body produce endorphins.
Yeah, that causes a host of problems across the world.
Yeah, or like enzyme replacement therapy is another possible application. And I love that that they're already thinking ahead at other applications for this same technology. And I always love when we can talk about like an implant where we're not talking about a lifelong treatment regimen, whether it's injections or prescriptions or something like that. This is something where they can put it in, and then hopefully this person can lead a fairly normal life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've talked about it a lot on the podcast about how I love the stories in the general manufacturing and engineering industry where they're like right on the ground level, R&D, academia, and the coverage that you have on medical design and development I find extremely encouraging. On a near daily basis in that newsletter, you're covering devices and research and stuff that's happening in the medical industry that like truly almost give me a reassurance where I'm just like, oh, okay, they don't have it yet, but like maybe by the time I need it, they'll have it licked. And I don't know. So I think your work that you've been doing on that brand has just been phenomenal. So,
thanks. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Incredible. Would highly recommend anybody that has an interest in medical design engineering or just the medical industry in general. If you want to get a little bit more well-educated, check out medicaldesigndevelopment.com and make sure to check out Ben's work on the daily. I've never said that before. I knew it was a risk on the daily. I can't do it. No, it's right up there with me saying dope.
I liked it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I didn't like dope though.
No. Okay. Yeah. No. That's
put that
universally.
One back in your pocket.
You ruined it.
Yep. That's on brand. Let's get into final thoughts. Or actually, sorry, Anna, I forgot to ask you. What did you think about the implant?
Oh, I hated it.
Yeah, just completely against it.
Yep.
You're
what
like, no.
I'm glad you asked.
Anna's coming out bad cop on this one. Just like, no. You know what? You have her natural body, live or
deal
die.
with it. Yeah.
Why?
No, the part of I'll just say this one thing, but the part of the story that got me the most was how casually, so they're talking about the immune suppression stuff, how these procedures are really dangerous if you have type 1 diabetes. But then it just says, also, the new system can provide much tighter sugar control, effectively curing the disease and enabling the person to eat, drink, and exercise like everyone else. Okay. Oh, and by the way, it just cures type 1 diabetes if you put it in.
You're like,
you're cured.
You check out. You're normal now.
Yep.
Don't worry about anything else.
Mm-hmm.
No, I have family members right now that are going through this and it's been extremely difficult, especially because it makes pregnancy situations a little bit more high risk.
Oh, sure.
And so just knowing how close I am to that right now, I certainly wish that wasn't a variable in the situation.
Yeah.
Let's get into final thoughts now before we get rolling this week. Ben, what's your final thought this week?
Well, I'm taking a few days off next week to stay at a cabin with my wife and daughter.
Yes.
And I was kind of struggling to find things nearby to do while we're there. One of the tourism guides suggested checking out a really big tree. Apparently this is the 7th biggest tree in Wisconsin.
Oh, in Wisconsin.
It's way up there. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot.
Yeah,
a lot of trees around there.
There.
So to get in the top 10, that's not nothing.
No, I mean, you're doing something.
Yeah, but needless to say, the search isn't going great for things to do. So honestly, I'm just going to take that as a sign to just sort of totally unplug and sit on the deck and stare at the lake.
Oh, stare at the lake with some coffee. And just
staring at the lake is the best.
It is. One thing, actually, part of my final thoughts, and you need to get a selfie with that tree. I mean,
we're gonna go see it.
Yeah, I mean, you need to take like you should set up a camera, take 1,000 photos over the course of a 24-hour period, and like create an Instagram account for it, like the tree today.
Yeah. Well, it had me thinking too. We have a pretty big tree in our backyard, so I'd love to get it like certified.
Yeah, see if we're in the top 100.
If we could knock this one down a peg,
get like a certificate.
Yeah,
9th biggest tree.
9th biggest tree in the state. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, people would pay to see that. Yeah.
Well, my final thought was I went to my family and I traveled to Virginia last week. That's why I missed the podcast for our semi-annual family reunion every 2 years. Right? Semi-annual? Is that biannual? I always mess that one up.
Oh, yeah. Actually, it's biannual.
Okay, my biannual Manti family reunion. And I got to say, like, I was one of the family members that really dragged his feet on it. Like, everyone had things booked 2 years ago. As soon as they set it up, and I'm like, yeah, we'll get to it.
This does not sound like
I
you.
know, it doesn't check out with my personality.
What?
Yeah. But I went, and it was incredible. Like, we stayed in Rocky Mount, Virginia, revisited Rocky Mount and the Roanoke area, and I can't recommend it highly enough. It was incredible. The center and the square in Roanoke was an incredible place to take kids. The Mill Mountain Zoo on the top, like it's a zoo on top of a mountain. I was just like, I was asking family members if they wanted to go, and they're like, nah. I'm like, it's a zoo on top of a mountain.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
Sounds awesome.
But it was actually just nice to take, like you said, take a few days off, recharge. And part of that, I read the book Northwoods by Amy Pease, and I recommend it. It takes place in northern Wisconsin. So it's like just a simple murder mystery that takes place up north. And there was one part in the book where I was even just like, it wasn't wholly Wisconsin. And then they had a meeting amongst the cops in a Quick Trip parking lot. And I'm like, there it is.
Yep.
It's all Wisconsin now.
Now it's legit.
But definitely recommend Northwoods as the book, and Rocky Mount, Virginia. Also just, if you haven't in a while, find a family member that you haven't talked to in a while. In my case, some of them was like 6 years, and it was just nice to catch up, see where everybody was. And there was this really sweet moment where a family that hasn't come to the reunions before came, and the kid, he's like 10, his mind was blown. He's just like, I thought I had a tiny family. I thought it was just us, and we didn't have any other family members. And it was like he was so overjoyed by the fact that he had this like larger extended family. It was just pure wholesome.
That's
and it
sweet.
was good.
Yeah.
Anna, what's your final thought this week?
Well, I guess since we're talking about our vacations, I will not be on the podcast next week because I will be up north as well. But because it's Wisconsin, up north is just a vast place, so probably won't run into Ben. But if you want to pin me that tree.
I'll let you know where it's
maybe
at.
I can find it. We are actually going on. I was telling the guys this before we hit record, but there's this place up where we'll be where someone business converted this boat into a pirate ship, and so we have tickets for a pirate ship ride. My kids love this thing. My son still thinks that he's really driving the boat when he goes up by the captain
at the helm.
Yeah, so he was telling everyone that he was going to drive it again.
Yeah,
like, you can, buddy. Yeah, get up there.
No, there's something empowering about. We were in a children's museum that had like the huge circle steering wheel, and I was just like, you throw it down and you're just like, I am the master of this entire domain.
I know. Everybody hold on tight. Mm-hmm. We have a 7-year-old at the wheel. And he's just like, all right. So anyway, looking forward to that as well. Like, the Northwoods is a fantastic place to be. So just going to chill, go to the beach, sit by the water, go on a pirate ship, as one does.
Yeah, I feel like all of those things, except maybe the pirate ship, going to be really relaxing. Because, is it oversold? Are there a lot of people on there? Or can you kind of like enjoy your time on the pirate ship?
There's no like looting of other ships or anything like that. It's very safe.
Okay. You don't have to you don't take any sort of cannon fire?
No, okay. Nothing like that. There's no plank.
Keel hauling.
Yeah, there's no plank. No one is like, everyone survives.
It would be great if they had there was like a mini performance and someone had to walk the plank. Holy cow. That's the one job I didn't do as a summer gig. Just like, I was the pirate that had to walk the plank. No, we're going to miss you next week. And hopefully in a couple of weeks, we'll all be able to like get together in the office and be like, what you guys been up to? Like,
right, yeah.
Yeah, tell us how the tree was. You got to report back.
Oh, I will.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. You're going to hear all about it. Yeah.
All right. Well, before we get out of here, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. You can also help us out a lot by leaving the podcast a positive review on whatever platform you use. If you want to email the podcast, you can reach any of us at Ben, David, Anna, or Jeff at IN.com with email the podcast in the subject line. You can also subscribe to our daily and weekly newsletters. Make sure you get it delivered to your inbox first. And subscribe to us on YouTube at IN Magazine so you can join us every Thursday when we go live. All right, for Ben Munson, Anna Wells, and Jeff Ranke, who's fishing, I'm David Manti. This is the Today in Manufacturing podcast, and we will see you next week.